tuning into Jassé in the Jeep. If you were looking for Jassé in the Jeep yesterday, I'm sorry, I do owe you guys, and so I'm doing one today, and there's no better time than the present, so here we are. Something has really been on my mind these last few weeks because I've been realizing that I have been living in fear. So fear is false evidence appearing real. Basically, it's a story that you make up to tell yourself that you can or can't do something, that something will or something won't work, that the negative is going to happen, and therefore it allows you not to grow. I have one intricate moment in my life where I allowed fear to stop me from doing something. And I've been asked this question before by people, like recently, maybe like a year and a half ago, my supervisor asked me, is there something that you've ever wanted to do that you've never done? And I said, I've never lived outside of Maryland. My whole life I've lived in Maryland. I was born in Maryland, Prince George's County Hospital. I went to school in Maryland. I work in Maryland. My whole life I've been in Maryland. But one time when I was a sophomore in college, my professor really truly loved my writing style. She loved my writing. She loved me as a student, and she had a friend who was either sorry, I got a call. She had a friend who was either a journalist in New York or she worked for a news station in New York. I cannot remember. But that friend was looking for an intern, and my professor was like, Jassé, you would be perfect. This was her friend. I truly believe this was her sorority sister. So that was my internship. Hands down, she was like, Jassé, you would be perfect for it. You know, I'll give her some of your writing samples. I've already told her about you. You would be perfect for it. I would have been living in New York for that summer, working at, I want to say it was NBC. It had to have been NBC because NBC keeps coming to me. So if NBC is in New York, I feel like I had an opportunity to be an intern for NBC through my professor. And she was like, you know, let me know. I think I had to let her know in like 2 weeks. She was like, let me know what your decision is so that I can let my sorority sister know. And I was so honored for her to even think that much of me. I was like amazed because I was just doing my regular schoolwork. I didn't think anything was special about my writing style. I didn't think anything was truly at that time exceptional about me that I could go to New York for the summer and work for a big network as an intern. And so I started going down a list of why I couldn't do it. One, I have nowhere to stay. 2, New York is crazy expensive. 3, I'm a big support system at that time for my mom. I'm like, what would my mom do if I leave? You know, she has these other 2 kids that I help her with. I just gave a long list of why I could not do this internship. And so I think in between that time, I would see her. She was like, have you made up your mind yet? I'd be like, oh, you know, I'm trying to figure it out. And to be honest, I just knew Jassé was not built to go to New York to do an internship. I thought New York was going to eat me alive. I thought it was going to be like, what's the movie with the chick with the black and white hair? Oh, Devil Meets Prada. I don't know. I made all these things up in my mind that I wouldn't be able to do the internship. And until this day, I hate that I never even tried, that I never even considered that I would be worthy of this internship. I just let fear stop me completely from excelling. And knowing what I know now, I could have at least looked into a place to live. I have family in New York. I could have asked her to speak to her friend, for her friend to just kind of reassure me and say, you know, I've heard great things about you. No, you would be a good fit. No, this is more of a learning internship. So many things that I didn't do, all because I was fearful to move forward in my life. And like I said, this is something that has for years plagued me. It's something that I wish I would have done. And I realized that a lot of us live in fear, whether it's fear of applying to a new job, whether it's fear of putting ourselves out there to someone, whether it's fear of trying to eat different or look different or whatever. It's just we are scared a lot of times to just put that one step forward. And yesterday was Will Smith's 50th birthday, and I was so intrigued by his birthday because he wanted to do this bungee jump over the Grand Canyon. And Will said he was fearful to do it. Everything about him, like, he tried to put on a brave face, but you could tell when they were strapping him up, he was so scared. He kept saying, did you check the strap? Did you check this strap? Like, is it secure? Is it tight? Like, he kept asking all of these questions to make sure, like, okay, I'm going to commit to this jump. And before he did the jump, he said, everything starts with a commitment. Once you commit yourself to something, you just have to put yourself forward to do it. And so watching him go up, I mean, you could see the fear in his face. He was sweating a little bit. But when it was time to jump, he just let his hands go. He just literally just let his hands go. And some people can say, well, that's Will Smith. You know, like, it's Will Smith. Yes, I get it. It's Will Smith. He's probably been a stunt double. He's probably done all these things. But in all actuality, people don't bungee jump from helicopters all the time. So I'm sure there was some level of fear there for him, and you could see it. But the beauty and the grace was watching him trust the process. And he just let his hands go, and he just fell. He just fell. And when it was over, and while he was dangling, he was like, this is so beautiful. And when he got back on solid ground, he was like, I never would have known how this felt. Like, I felt like the Grand Canyon for a moment belonged to me, and it was just blissful. And that's what I want people to realize. Like, fear is gripping. Fear can really talk you out of some of the most beautiful experiences. Like, I know so many people who have wonderful and great ideas, and they're waiting for the right time. They're waiting for a sign. They're waiting for someone else to say, oh, I can help you with this. And in all honesty, just let your hands go. Just do it. Like, there's no time better than the present. I heard someone say, when you reply and say, I'm trying, it really means you're not. You're not trying at all. Because if you were really trying, you would be doing. And I think this was just put on my heart for a reason to say, if there's something that you're sitting on, if there's something that's in your heart to do, do it. Please don't be like me years later wondering what would it have been like to live in New York for 3 months doing an internship at a prestigious network. I mean, honestly, I'm sitting in my car right now doing Jassé in the Jeep. So that means I have some level of journalism. I can freely talk. I know that I'm a good writer. I'm sure I had a lot of these skill sets when the opportunity was presented to me years ago. My professor saw it in me. She saw enough in me to recommend me to someone at NBC to say she would be a good intern. But I completely I didn't see it for myself. And a lot of times, you have to be your biggest advocate. You have to be the person to say, you know what? There's something in me that says that I can't do it, but there's a whole lot in me that says that I can. And even if I try and I failed, at least I attempted. Old Jassé never even attempted. I just completely completely talked myself out of a great situation. And when I was thinking about doing this segment on fear, I'm like, okay, well, Jassé, that was years ago when you were presented with that opportunity. How have you moved away from fear now? And the only example that truly came to me was when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. I don't share this story with a lot of people because, one, I only want to share certain intimate parts of myself with people that I know have my best interests at heart. So I never want to share my breast cancer story with somebody who's like, that she had breast cancer. Like, I only want to share it with someone that I know they either can learn from it, they can grow from it, or they can help someone else. I don't want to share with someone who's going to look down or feel bad or sad for me. So that's not the case. But for this particular instance, I found my breast cancer myself. I was having a conversation with my mom, and I told her that I felt a lump under my arm, and I was like, it hasn't gone away. And she was like, well, I don't know, Jassé, that's really close to your breast. You should, do a self-breast exam. At the time, I had just had a baby. I was breastfeeding. My son was 7 months exactly. And I was like, whatever, mommy. Okay, it's under my arm, but you already claiming breast cancer, but okay. But one thing that I always do is I always listen to my mom. So that night after breastfeeding my son, I put him in the bed and I said, okay, let me just do the exam. And literally where I put my hand, I felt a lump. And what happened? My mind started telling me a narrative. Girl, you breastfeeding. It's probably a blocked duct. You already don't produce a lot of milk. Don't even worry about it. Your mom is a hypochondriac. All of these things. Like, I really started talking myself out of why it could not be breast cancer. But I said, you know what? I'm going to call my doctor in the morning because I need her to rule everything out. And it was from that little conversation with my mom that I decided to then look in to find out what this lump was. And from there, let me tell you, I can do a whole nother segment on breast cancer alone and fear. But the reason that I brought up this particular example is because had I lived in fear and said, nah, that ain't it. It can't be breast cancer. You're only 30 something. No, there's a lot of people who have things on their body where they're like, it's just going to go away. I could have done that and said, you know what? I'm going to just wait it out and see. Who knows? When I found my breast cancer, it was stage 0. I didn't even know 0 was a stage. When they called me to say, you have breast cancer and it's stage 0, I thought she was confused because I thought 0 meant 0 breast cancer. So why are you calling me and saying you have breast cancer? Like, it was confusing to me. But I say all that to say, had I not taken that next step, had I not trusted my intuition, had I not said, I can't be fearful of the doctor, I have to see what they're talking about, who knows if I would have been here today. Because there's a lot of people who find things on their body or who have things going on with their life which they have chosen to just ignore, and later on come to find out that it's way more serious than what it is. So those are my 2 time spans in life where I had to deal with fear. Fear all day, every day. Every time I click the live button in this while I'm in the car to just talk to the people that filter in, and every time that I post on Facebook and I don't know who's watching or who even cares to watch my video, I am very fearful. I'm putting myself out there to be judged. But every single time there's someone to say, you know what, Jassé, this really touched me. You know what, that resonated with me. And that allows me to know that I'm doing it for a reason, that I can't allow my thoughts of what other people think of me to stop me, or even my thoughts of myself to stop me from doing something that I'm so tremendously passionate about. Recently I got an email from one of my sorors, and she was saying, Jassé, I just love what you're doing, and I had a similar idea for parents with disabled kids, and just my tricks of how I deal with my son and his education and blah blah blah. And she was like, this is something that I want to do. And so when I responded to her, I said, if I can tell you anything, just do it. There is somebody out there who needs the information that has been put on your heart to share. Just do it. Don't care about what anyone is going to say. Do it. And the more you do it, the better you'll become at it. And so she responded to me and she was like, Jassé, you don't know how long I've been sitting on this idea, and you just confirmed what it is that I need to do. And so hopefully, I pray that she is doing her passion piece. I hope that if you guys have any passion pieces, that you do it. Like I said, every day that I hit this live button, sometimes I don't even know what I'm going to talk about, but I know that I'm passionate about it, and I know that there's people that look forward to it, and so therefore I do it. So that's my thing on fear. If anything is holding you back, if you're fearful of updating your resume and sending it to people, if you're fearful of starting a step team, or fearful of joining a new organization, fearful of anything, I am going to ask you to do something today to move forward to what it is that you want to do, because there's no time better than the present. You can say tomorrow, you can say Friday, there's no perfect time. I'm always surprised by people who say, yeah, you know what, we're going to have a baby when the time is right, or we're going to get married when the time is right. And let me tell you, when it comes to family and babies, and I understand that finances and all of those things need to be in order, and I'm not saying jump out there with no finances, but what I'm going to say is, even when you think it's going to be the perfect time, it's never going to be the perfect time, because there's always going to be something that you're going to say, oh, I kind of wish we had this, or I wish we lived here, or I wish. There's always going to be something that's going to not be 100%. And so if that is going to be a constant, what makes today any different? So that's my message to you guys today. And I have these new affirmation cards that I so love. I have 21 affirmation cards. They're just positivity cards. And before I started my ride today, I said, let me pull an affirmation card for my listeners, my passengers, just to see if it will fall in line with my message. I'm sorry, y'all. I keep getting phone calls in the middle of this Jassé in the Jeep. I pulled the affirmation card to see if it would fall in line with my message today. And the card that I got is, if you can see it, is you are on the right path. You are on the right path. What it is you want to do, what it is you think you're going to do, you're on the path to do it. Do not be your own worst enemy and talk yourself out of it. Sometimes you can't share all of your ideas with certain people because they live in fear too. So what are they going to do? How you plan on doing that? What time you going to do that? Those aren't the people to go to. Go to the people who can say, oh, you know what? I know somebody that can help you with that. Or I might not be able to help you, but I can help you stuff envelopes, or I can help you with the vision board. Like, go to the people that's going to really encourage you to be the better you. That's it. Start today and talk to people who are going to encourage you. If you have no one, then make your own vision board. Let me tell you, Oprah's Soul Sunday, if you need a push for anything, go to Oprah Soul Sunday. She's really telling you to trust your intuition. If you can, go see Will Smith jump, and just, you don't have to see the whole thing, but just see how he allowed himself to just be free in fear. Allow yourself to be free in fear. There's a lot of growth that comes from being uncomfortable. And that's all it is. That's truly all it is. You're uncomfortable and you're scared that you're not going to be able to do it. So I charge you today to put one foot forward and live fearless. I allowed myself to live fearless yesterday with something that had been gripping me, and I'll just see, if that doesn't work, I'll see what will work. But I'm not about to live the rest of my life hoping I went to New York. That's it. So thank you for joining this Jassé in the Jeep. I hope this message, I don't know who it's for. It definitely was for me. I know that. But if it resonated with you, share it with someone else. Love, light. That's it. Namaste.